people want to see real people on social media, but then when a person is real on social media, you don't like that.
Yeah.
That's why I tell you, I'm not plan aesthetic, I'm plan azteca.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unstereotyped Real Life, the podcast where we highlight Latinas pursuing their passions and showing younger generations that they can follow their dreams despite what society thinks and expects of them. My name is Melanie Hernandez, and I am the proud host of this podcast. Now, please help me welcome today's guest, Paloma Diaz Rivas. They're cheering for you.
I know, I'm like, thank you. Let me just go situate here. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I'm so happy you're here.
Thanks for having me.
So, let's get this started.
Okay.
So, you are a lifestyle creator based in Dallas, right?
I am.
Can you tell me more about your work or the work that you do / have done?
Yeah, okay. So, well, like, just in general, content-wise, or like brands and like
Everything you want to mention. Go
ahead.
ahead.
Let me get comfortable. No,
No, I'm set.
no, she's like, I'm ready. So I've done a little bit of everything just to kind of give you like in a nutshell, like it really started off as dancing and it kind of just turned into what it is now. It just evolutionized from like dancing to like tutorials to Western fashion to lifestyle now. And lifestyle, I feel like, although it's very like general, like a general term, I feel like everybody does have their own style of lifestyle, or maybe I think I have my own style of lifestyle because I'm like, I'm not plan aesthetic, soy plan azteca. So it's very, I'm like, don't come to my page for like the aestheticness.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be there because that's
girl,
just not, no, that is not me. I'm like very maximalista, like, and so it's basically just that. I think it's just my life literally living in Dallas, and that's kind of expanded into what I drink to, I already told you, que me encanta el café. I try to stay healthy. I'm really like, I've always been on a whole wellness thing because that's how I was raised. So I, sprinkle in a little bit of that. And now this year I'm sharing a little bit more of like what I actually do in my day to day versus what it was when it first started, which was just dancing. And that'll include like everything from like reading to where I'm going, to grocery runs, to everything like that. And as far as brand goes, like, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. So I know you said that you kind of fell into the creating aspect of it all. How and when did you start actually creating content?
So I started in 2019, November of 2019. And then when 2020 happened and then the world caught on fire. And I think it's been on fire ever since. That's when I kind of started taking it a little bit more seriously because at that point I still had a job. And then in 2021, I got laid off. And I had all the time in the world. So I was posting like 7 videos a day and I was like, I got nothing else to do. And no one was hiring. So I was like, go ahead. So anyway, so like that's kind of where it really like started. And then like where it really took off was at that time. Yeah.
Do you remember what the first video you posted was? Or like actual like intentional video to post?
The intentional video? I think the first one, I don't know if it was like the first or like the first intentional video, but the first one that comes to mind was like my first like viral video, which was literally like what was in my Shein cart. Because at that time, like they had the like the stimulus checks or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And so I invested my stimulus check. Right. I invested my stimulus check on a Shein haul and I posted about it. And I remember like I uploaded it like Friday night and Saturday morning it was like at 10 million views. And I was like, really? Like I didn't even try it on. Like it was just like the Shein cart, like what I had in it. And people were like, well, try it on. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's good. And then I know you also did a partnership with them, I think, right? And
it's been like partnering with Shein is weird unless you're like an official, like you get your own line. But yes, have they paid me for stuff? Yes. But it's very like, I don't know. It's weird. I must be, I don't know if it's a language barrier. Maybe I know they have like some Shein people here, or maybe I just haven't tried as hard to like really get in contact with like the right person. Pero technically, yes, they have paid me to do content and they've sent me stuff. So they still send me some stuff. A lot of them is gifted, and I'm like, okay, I'll take the free clothes. You know, might as well.
Well, hopefully you made that stimulus check back.
No, oh my God, that's a whole story. That's a whole story. I like real quick. I'm like, I actually like the package took like 2 months to get there, and I reported it missing at that time. Oh. And then they're like, okay, we'll give you all your money back. And I was like, okay. And then literally the next day it was at my door, and I was like, I swear I did not do that on purpose. But yeah, I did make all my money back technically. Yeah.
Yeah, girl math.
Yeah, girl math. I'm like, I made it back.
But your profile also says you're an entrepreneur. Can you tell me a bit more about that and what that means?
Yes. So entrepreneurship, though, like I was telling you, this whole social media content creator thing was not part of the plan by any means. It just kind of evolved from a hobby to that. But I really wanted to get into entrepreneurship since I was little, honestly. My dad used to pay me to read business books when I was young. So that kind of like really set the mindset to how I looked at the world, how I looked at people, how I looked at companies, how I looked at shopping, investing, and all that stuff. So I knew that from a young age, I really wanted to do something in business, because I'm like, okay, this is what runs the world. Like no matter what type of business it is, whether it's un café, like a clothing brand, like lo que sea. And I just think it's interesting, like as like just as a whole thing. Like I think it's cool how certain companies are ran, how certain CEOs do things, how a woman CEO does things differently from a man CEO. And we're seeing more of that now. And so I just kind of kept that in the back burner of like, okay, I want to get into business and be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know what field at that time. And now I consider myself an entrepreneur because, like I was telling you, content creators, if you want to take this seriously or want to go long term with it, you have to become an entrepreneur. You have to learn how to manage finances, where you're investing, what equipment you're buying, your team, all that stuff, brand deals, negotiation. Like, is it a newer side or a newer industry of business? Yeah, sure. But it's still business at the end of the day. And technically, by default, like I am an entrepreneur because I work for myself, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on the day. But so that's kind of how I see like entrepreneurship, and I still want to get into maybe even owning properties one day and stuff like that. I think social media is really just like a big stepping stone that I enjoy.
And did you gain most of that knowledge from your parents, or where did you research?
Honestly, from books. I'm such a bookworm, so I've read a lot of books, not just about how to run business necessarily, but I think, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think it's more so how to manage and deal with people and how to correctly build your team and know that some people are going to work well in this environment and some people are not going to work well in this environment, or whatever that case is. And then listening to people that already have something that I want, like, you know, the bigger creators. I look at if they've done interviews, I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing that I'm not? What systems do you have in place that I do not in my creative process? And that's really how I've learned, and just talking to other business people and just asking questions, being chismosa, honestly.
That's good. Yeah. That's good that you're, doing your own research and taking time to find out. Because I know very many people kind of expect to just fall into it or have the overnight virality and don't expect it to fall into place or have somebody figure it out for you. But that's not the reality for most people.
For most people, no. I think virality is its own thing, but if you're ready for it, yeah. Like I think viral is going great, but like what's the next step?
Yeah,
exactly. Like that's
have a plan.
Yeah, you have to have a really well thought out plan.
Like what comes to mind, I know it's kind of random, but I don't remember that one girl who had the dumb video where she was like Hawk Tour or whatever. Remember her? And then she just got like so popular like overnight, and then I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was like Logan Paul or Jake Paul or those people, and then all of a sudden she had like a podcast, and then it seemed like everybody was doing stuff for her, and she wasn't really taking the time to, research the industry she was entering. And then that whole scandal with like their coin, their cryptocurrency. Oh, yeah. And then it was named after that joke that she had made. And so it all fell back on her once there was backlash from, I forgot what the term is, rug pulling or something. Yeah. And like it fell all back on her, and she's like disappeared from the internet since.
Literally, like she was not, like you said, she wasn't either prepared. Mind you, I don't know like the behind the scenes of what went down for that, but I think that also has to do with like the people you surround yourself with. Like you don't know, like, okay, you're allowed to say no to some opportunities or to whatever people, whatever reason that might be. But I think like, yeah, exactly that. Like she went viral and maybe she did have the team, but maybe it's not a good team. Because I've seen cases where like influencers hate their management.
Yeah.
And they don't do anything like good for that, or they don't help how or support how they probably thought they would be. And that can also be a bad thing, because that's your technically like that's your bridge between influencer and companies or whatever, or like whatever the outside world, whether that's crypto or people. So yeah, like it could like blow up in your face if you're not careful.
Exactly. And I feel like they're more likely to take advantage of women and people of color and
for
younger
sure.
people.
For sure.
And it's easier to be more impressionable, especially as a young person as well, like coming into all of that and then being taken advantage by like a team or something who just wants to use you up.
Yeah, I think if you're not mentally prepared for that, then yeah, I think you need to, like, my parents may not be business owners themselves, but if they've taught me a lot of things of you have to have willpower in this world, especially like I'm the only daughter, so my mom is like, you got to learn to say no, and you got to learn how to like stand on business when you say no with whatever that may be,
But I know you told me that you didn't go to college, correct?
Correct.
Was there?
This is why I was lost on the campus today. I was like, interesting.
Oh, it's okay.
No.
It's okay. Anybody would get lost.
No, it's huge.
Campuses are confusing.
I've never
Even
been.
if I go to a different campus, it feels weird.
Yeah, but no, I didn't go to college, no.
Was that a personal choice? Like what, you just didn't feel like you wanted to?
I know that I didn't want to from like entering high school.
Oh, really?
I just, like from what, and mind you, I think it's like a blessing. Let me just preface this by saying like it's a blessing to say that I have the choice of whether going or not. But no, I didn't want to go to college, and it was a very intentional choice because the route that I wanted to take, it didn't require college necessarily. At least that's how I saw it then. And maybe I just got lucky that it kind of all worked out. But well, let me not say that because there was a lot of hard work put into that. But a lot of the business books that I was reading, a lot of the guys that wrote, like the authors that wrote the books and like the people that they talked about had little to no education. And they were the ones like owning these big companies. And if they needed help with, let's say, like editing or something, like they would just hire an editor, So I kind of, maybe I took it too literally. And I was like, you know what? Like there's no college, at least like when I graduated high school, like there was no college course for social media at that time, or content creation, or how to become an influencer and how to be like PR trained and like all this. Like I don't think, maybe now it exists, but where I was looking, it didn't. And I was like, you know what? Like, I think the best way to learn is to really like ask the people who have like already took that path in content creation or people who like run businesses. So I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go to college. But, and my parents were supportive of it, but they were like, but you're going to go like get a job and make money. So, yeah. And I don't know. I was like, I don't think anyone in college is going to teach me how to be a content creator at that time anyway. So yeah, that was kind of it didn't make sense in my head to go.
And it's definitely crazy to see how back then there weren't as many resources for people who are interested in that. But now colleges are offering like content creating classes. Really? Or I took in my undergrad, I took strategic social media. Like those classes exist now, and those career pathways are made, I guess, not more accessible because of college and different programs like that. They're definitely adding those in now. So it's crazy to see, especially with the development that social media has had and short form content and apps like TikTok. That's definitely way more accessible than it was back then.
I'm curious because so there's this book called The Purple Cow, right? And it's a marketing book. And it talks about how like marketing and what people are interested in is ever changing. And you have to keep, you have to keep an eye on like what the younger generation is interested in, like, let's say like the millennials or like, the older generations are interested, because marketing, again, like I said, is ever changing. So I'm curious as to like how these college classes or courses look, where like how they deal with like the fast pace of changes in the marketing world. Like that I would be curious to know. Like I'm like, okay, what are y'all teaching? Like what are y'all saying?
I feel like that goes more into like actually like the marketing degrees or advertising degrees and stuff like that. Because I mean, some of my friends, they have marketing degrees, and so they teach you all of that. And how to deal with, a crisis or whatever, how to pivot when you need to redirect a project.
Yeah.
But for me, since I'm doing more journalism, it's more about the content itself. And so, for example, in that strategic social media class, we were coming up with like a whole social media marketing plan for like a person or a thing. Like you made an account, like say you're making an account for your dog. Like you come up with the whole posting schedule, you come up with different tactics and goals to reach. And so for me, I was already managing the social media of one of my orgs. I was in the Hispanic Student Association. And so I kind of used that as like how I would make a plan to gain more engagement, more following, and how to, connect with the demographic that my group is, trying to cater to. And so it was more that aspect instead of the actual, like,
the marketing.
Yeah, that stuff. I feel like that's more connected to, like, the actual, like, if you did a marketing degree.
Yeah.
But that's interesting because I know basically if you're a creator and influencer, you're marketing yourself, and sometimes you have to market things if maybe you have a brand deal or something. So it is that those things are very much intertwined now.
Yeah, I was going to say they're very much intertwined. And I'm like, that's crazy because I had to figure that all on my own. Or like watching others, like, like the grades and like, but then you have those cases where like some people's personality is like what they follow you for or what they have a following for. And like they just throw the rules like out of the window and they do their own thing. So it's just interesting to me. Like, that's why I say like, I think I'm in the content creator world, but I think it's also fascinating to see what people like and follow and connect with, honestly.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, I'll get more into that later. But I know you're also an official creator partner for Atletico Dallas and a Coca-Cola X FIFA World Cup 26 ambassador. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes. So for the Atletico one, Atletico Dallas is a soccer team here in Dallas. Their season doesn't actually start till 2027. Oh. And when they had reached out to me, they were like, hey, like this, this soccer team we want for the Latin community, more so the Mexican community in my case, right? And they have been just, honestly, like I have all good things to say about Atletico Dallas. They really are putting in the work to like build with the community and making sure like the stories of like the brown people here in Dallas are like shared and their negocios are highlighted, all within the soccer world to prepare for their season. So right now I'm just basically like you said, an ambassador. So I get to make content for them. I actually just helped co-direct a shoot yesterday for their new merch line drop. That's gonna be like 90s, like Y2K themed. So I think that's also fun. Like anything creative, I'm all over it. Like I'll help. And so that was cool to be able to do that. But yeah, they're very trying to be like, they appreciate the community and the culture there is here in Dallas, and they want to show that as well through soccer really cool. For the Latin and like brown side.
That's cool.
Yeah, and for the FIFA, for the Coca-Cola, like you said, X FIFA World Cup 2026. It's been crazy. It's a really wild opportunity, I would say. I got reached out to by a team that I'm assuming like a third party. It's sometimes how it usually works. That reached out on behalf of Coca-Cola, and they said, "Hey, we want to bring you on. We're picking like maybe 20 creators from the USA and Canada," and I was one of those 20. And so, yeah, they flew us to their headquarters in Atlanta, got to make content with them. Our own content really. And it was that trip was more like a lesson, if you will, on how we and how we can present the brand and through our socials. It was very much like we had the legal team there telling us like what we couldn't. It was a very serious, like it wasn't like a fun brand trip. Like it was fun, but like it was very like, hey, we want to make sure that you guys are doing this and this and this and not saying this and this and that. But it was cool. I think and I was telling Elva, my content strategist, about this. I was like, it was interesting to see there was other Latin creators there, but I think as far as like their content itself, I think I was the only one who was doing content in Spanish.
Were there other Latinos though there? Yeah. Okay.
Some of them I think do like a little bit, but not like full on like raza, like hey, actually. And so, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I was just very like happy to be one of them and to like represent that side of like los Latinos and or más bien los Mexicanos, and just like be around other creators. I think that was the most exciting part of that brand trip, is getting to meet like the team and then the creators that were there. Cause I mean, they're creators of like, God, like way higher caliber than I am, like hanging out with freaking like Rihanna and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, like, you know, Rihanna.
Well, did you make friends with them? Were you able to make friends?
Yeah. As well as I could, because it's very much like back to back stuff that they have it. So a veces like no nos dan like the opportunity to kind of like talk, maybe like toward the end or like at the dinners. But it's hard to like genuinely have a conversation with like 20 people, and if maybe they don't feel like talking, like I'm not gonna, you know, pressure them to be like, you know, hey, like what's up, you know. So it's like that. But it's just been a cool opportunity. They're, I will say, son muy exigentes. Like they want stuff like that, but that's every brand. They just want things. I don't feel like in every industry, honestly. Like it's a lot of things are very timely. Yeah. But it's been a lot of fun thus far.
That's cool. And then what other partnerships or collabs have you done? Let's
see. I've done one with Twisted Tea. That was fun. That was actually, I kind of enjoyed that because I had I all I think of it as a TikTok. And the sound.
Twisted.
We're Twisted Tea, you know. But that one was a lot of fun. I got to make like, I guess no one had ever put like chamoy on the rim of a Twisted Tea. And I'm like, what?
No, we've definitely done
that. And I was like, y'all
haven't done that.
And I'm like, y'all haven't done that, but let me show you. And
like
so,
the Topo Chicos, bro. Like,
I know. Well, like the Topo Chicos you have, but like on a Twisted Tea can specifically. Like, I don't know if they've never put like, I don't know. I was like, let me show y'all what y'all are missing out.
Or was it the brand? Like,
no, this one was just like, I just did like content for them. And of course they wanted me to host like a watch party, because it was like for like the NFL season and stuff like that. And I was like, well, let me like Mexican this, like let me just put my twist on this, you know, how I would actually want to drink this. And of course chamoy and tajin, y luego like un dulcecito like picante on top, like a little garnish, if you will. Limón también. Oh, I actually didn't put limón.
You didn't?
Because el chamoy ya venía like with limón, so I was like,
but I love limón, so I
no, same here. That's why I'm like, why did I do that? I'm gonna have to try that.
Try it again. Yeah,
try it again. Let me do it again. But so I did that with them, and that was a really fun collab, because they really like allow us to have creative freedom. That's my biggest thing. I'm like, if a brand allows you to have creative freedom, like that for me is a green flag, because a lot of them are like I've had brands reach out where like clearly like my content is in Spanish or maybe Spanglish, but like more so in Spanish, and they're like, so can you do it in English? And I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna benefit y'all or me. Like, let's just trust it. But yeah, some of them are very like strict in that sense. But I'm like, you know, I'm like, I warned you, I'll do it, but
if it doesn't get engagement.
And I know, I'm like, I don't know what you want me to say when everyone's talking Spanish. No, but Twisted Tea. And then one that I didn't actually get to post because TikTok changed its guidelines where we were in the process of it was with, who was it with? With Cazadores. Tequila Cazadores. And that was such a fun brand shoot, because we went out in a ranch. I did it with friends, had someone there helping me film and stuff like that. And it was just going to be like a whole like little like carne asada, kind of like just like hanging out with friends type of vibe, con música and everything. And when we were like in the process of reviewing and stuff like that, they were like, actually, you're not gonna be able to post this on your TikTok. And I was like, what? I was so mad because the video came out so nice, and I was in Mexico while they were telling me this, and I was over here toda enojada. Because the guidelines for alcohol like changed on TikTok.
You can't promote it,
so I couldn't post it. I don't think. I think because I forgot what the wording was. Like y'all more than welcome to look it up. But I feel like when it involves a brand and a paid like campaign, I don't think like I can post it on my account, but they would be able to post it as like an ad, if you will. I think that's from what I understood. I see like that's what happened. So I wasn't able to post it. And I even asked, I was like, so can I post like the pictures, like the behind the scenes? And they were like, no. I was like, okay. So I have nothing to show for that, but content-wise.
So they never posted it either as an ad?
They did. They did post it as an ad, but I just wasn't able to like show like, hey, like we did this fun campaign. I'm gonna ask again like in 2 years. I'm gonna be like, so can I post it?
You still post it on Instagram though?
No, tampoco. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Wait,
so I was
how
like,
long
whatever.
ago was that though?
That was, when was that? That was last year. I think that was like September. Yeah.
Okay.
Because TikTok be changing their guidelines without us knowing.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope y'all know that.
All the new billionaire owners say they're changing up everything.
It hasn't been the same ever since.
Yeah,
I'm like, I will die on that hill.
Right, because wasn't it when they were gonna so-called like take it down was like January?
Yeah, it was January. No, you know what's so funny? Okay, so on this Coca-Cola trip, side note, I don't know what her title was, but I like overheard that someone from TikTok was there. Ooh. And I was like, hello? I didn't get a chance to talk to her, but someone did ask like, because we were all like thinking the same thing. Yeah. And someone asked her like, hey, like, so has anything changed like on TikTok, like any algorithm? She's like, nope, everything's the same. And everybody was like, okay, right.
That's not true.
Whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of new features. Like, I don't know if you've seen like the AI feature now, the AI remixing thing.
The TikTok, what's it? TikTok Tavo or something, like their AI chat bot. Like you try to click the blue link and it pulls up the chat bot. I'm like, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I don't want that. I don't use that. But like, there's like a new AI thing, like on videos, like
the detection, like it tells you.
No. So like, if you go on your video, like now, if basically like you'll allow, unless it's turned off, you'll allow TikTok to AI or. I don't know if it's AI or TikTok. I don't know. You'll allow AI to remix your videos, and you have to turn it off.
No.
Yeah, you have to turn it off on every single video.
I did not see that.
Yeah, go check that out. yeah. And I'm like, well, thanks for letting us know.
Well, I mean, you're posting your content online already, so that gives anybody
at that point,
to take your face and do whatever they want with it.
But I just didn't like that they didn't ask.
Yeah, they're not asking.
They're not asking.
I already blocked Oracle. I blocked them all.
My block list is like miles long.
No, literally every billionaire block. But I mean, they got our data anyway. No, so whatever.
It's fine. Whatever.
But were you already passionate or interested in the social media industry, or was that kind of developed as you were posting?
I think that I was interested in the behind the scenes. Like I was telling you, I'm like, I like to see like human behavior when it comes to content and stuff like that. Cause for a time, so like side note, I really wanted to like study neuroscience if I was to go, like super side note.
That's crazy.
Cause I think like the human brain is really fascinating when it comes to like psychology and all that. So I was like, okay, on social media, it's really like easy, entre comillas, to read human behavior. Like it's cool to see how like that interaction works because it's technology at the end of the day, right? So I was more interested on the behind the scenes. And when like I started like when social media started kind of like growing, I really like directed like a music video. I did dance choreography for that video and stuff like that. And then at some point I was like, you know what? Like I can do this. Like I was not happy with like the dancers at that point. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do like my own like next time and be in front of the camera. And it just kind of developed from that. But it was never the plan because in high school I was like the shyest person on earth.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we've come a long way. So it developed like majorly because if you would have told me freshman year of high school I would have been doing this, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
So, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Years
now
later.
we're here.
And now we're here.
But how do you explain your identity to someone else in terms of things like ethnicity or other factors like first generation student, immigrant, etc.? Any label you would give yourself if somebody was asking you your identity?
Oh my God. That's a loaded question.
And people like to list everything, like
everything. I don't think I list, like on paper, I don't think I list everything everywhere, but I think like as a person, well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm first gen. I was born here, but I was raised like here and in Mexico. Yeah, back and forth. Did some school over there. So I like to say like, I feel like I'm Mexicana first, but nationality wise, like I was born here. I do have to acknowledge that. So there's that part. First gen, I like to joke. Well, it's not really a joke, but it's a joke that I'm the first daughter and the first son.
Oh,
because
Well, yes.
Yeah, I get taught everything. Older sister. I am the older sister to two younger brothers. They're amazing, but I like explain to my boyfriend all the time that I'm like, well, growing up, like I was taught what my brothers were taught. Yeah. I don't know if it was just because I was the oldest or whatever, but. Yeah, like daughter of immigrants, proud daughter of immigrants, brown skin, like, I think all like those labels go underneath. I think because that's what makes me who I am. Like the fact, like how my parents taught me things, how I treat others, that all falls back, I think, to culture as well. I think in Mexico we're like super welcoming, like hasta cuando te conocí, like this is my first time meeting you, pero te di abrazo igual, just because in Mexico like we're so used to doing that, or that's just what I've been taught. But yeah, like all those labels, and I don't know if I'm missing one. There's so many, but all of those labels. Okay. Yeah.
If you think of it, you can mention
it. I'll keep thinking in the back of my head. But yeah, I just think all of those make up my identity.
For sure. And where in Mexico is your family from? So
my dad is from, well, he was born in Mexico City, but he was taken to Michoacan as like a baby. So he says he's from Michoacan. Lived his whole life over there. And then my mom is from Zacatecas. So I have, so we have family in 3 places. Yeah. And scattered throughout Mexico. I think we have some family in Monterrey, if I'm not mistaken. I've never been. I've never met him. But yeah. So Michoacan and Zacatecas is what I say.
Do you all have any like indigenous connections or roots or anything?
I haven't actually checked, and everybody tells me to, just because people are like, your eyes are so small, and like I used to get mistaken for I still do. I get mistaken for Asian like all the time, really? and I'm like, it's a Mexico thing. I think we all have like some sort of like cousin or prima or whatever. I've been told that Mayans had small eyes. I don't know if that's true. I know where my dad lives, like, está la gente Purépecha. I have a friend who's actually from the Purépecha culture, but I actually haven't checked. I would hope so, honestly.
Yeah,
like
I feel like you do. I feel like most brown skin.
Yeah,
people.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I would have to do like the whole like DNA ancestry thing.
I want to do one too.
Yeah, because I know Zacatecas is like a really. My mom thinks that like her dad is like full on, pero we don't know, because I think like when we trace back like my dad's lineage, it stopped somewhere because fueron huérfanos, so we don't know.
Oh, okay.
And then on my mom's, I know I'm like dang it, but on my mom's side, I would honestly have to ask. I don't know how far back it goes. I know that it's an old place, so hopefully I'll come back when I do the ancestry test and let you know.
Yeah. It's cool when I guess you're able to find out if you do have that connection, or some people were lucky enough to grow up with it. I know for me, I'm half Salvadorian, half Mexican.
Oh, okay.
And my dad is from Hidalgo, and his family descend from the Otomi people. Ooh. And so he speaks, the language is called Ñañu. And so they speak that, like my grandparents speak it, and like their brothers. Like my dad is like, I guess the equivalent of like what you would call no sabo for their language, no. But he still understands it and talks to it. And I know like a few words, just because, you know, when he would tease me, he would say certain words, just like making fun of me. So I learned those words. But it's cool to know that I have like roots or connection to that still. Yeah. I even met my great grandma once. She like died when she was almost 100, but she would wear the braids with the ribbons, and like that. So it's cool to know that I had that connection, and so I'm trying to learn. I was gonna say, more.
Would you ever learn it?
Oh yeah, I'm like, trying to. I know like random words, and it's funny because cat in Ñañu is ramishi. Like, you know, people call cat amishi or michi. You know, so I'm like, wait, that's so funny to make like, those connections. Yeah, or like I know nose is shinyu, and I don't know if it was like pan or spoon is like radoyo. It's like I don't know if I'm doing like the certain emphasis on the vowels correct. Yeah. I'm watching like TikToks of this grandma and her granddaughter like showing different words, and so I'll just say something random to my dad, and he'll be like yes. That's so or like funny. Good morning, and he'll be like good morning.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's so funny because like in Michoacan, like some of our like I all know random like Purépecha words, but like without knowing like at a certain point that they were like Purépecha words, and I was like until my dad told me, I was like, hey, like I said like the bottom of like, or your bottom. I like called chunde, and I said that to my friend once, and she was like, what's that? And I was like, your butt. And she's like trasero, and I was like, no, chunde. And I went back to my dad, and I was like, apa, what does this mean? He's like, it's a Purépecha word for like the bottom of something. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, that would have been nice to know that. But yeah, I would love to learn it. But I have friends learning. I have a friend that same friend that I was telling you that's learning now. I have a friend that's from, is it Oaxaca? She speaks, is it the language? Zapoteco? And friends that speak Nahuatl. but like fluently, like they sing in it and everything. And I'm like, dang, I really do want to learn. I'm between like learning Purepecha or Nahuatl. So I'm like, maybe I'll do both, but
maybe there's similarities. There's probably similarities between
I don't
them,
know.
maybe.
I've actually I don't know. But I don't think Nahuatl, I think we have a lot of words in Spanish, like the Mexico, that do derive, like a lot of them do derive from the Nahuatl language. So I'm like, I don't think that one would be as hard.
Yeah.
Según yo, but I don't know.
There's probably definitely a lot of words that we're using now that were derived from these indigenous languages. Because I know sometimes I'll say a word and be like, do you know that actually is this word?
Yeah.
And, so it's cool. I feel like everybody should take the time to learn about it,
Just,
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But how do you incorporate your identity into what you do on social media?
Oh, however I can, honestly. I think I'm like, I always tell like my mom, I want to look and feel like Mexico threw up on me. Like in the sense, like right now I'm wearing something from Puebla. It's like
I know,
the
I was looking
Talavera.
at it. It's really pretty.
So it's like a little like match. Like the last time I went to Puebla. I think I have the bracelet on. Yeah, but literally any way I can, just because I don't. Not that like our culture's dying, but like we live somewhere where like it's not as prevalent as it is in Mexico and in everyday life. So really it's just, like in my content, and I try to show that. Like I think when I was like smaller, like a mí me decían like Indita or like Panchita, and I'm like, isn't it supposed to be a good thing? Like, because you're just calling me like true Mexican as far as I'm concerned. But I would always like wear like the huaraches, like even there's like so many like even baby photos of me like in indigenous clothing, like so it's always been a thing in my content. I'm not shy about it. I think that's what I like try to really like show the most, is that like our culture is beautiful, or like really any culture is any Latin culture is beautiful, and I think it's worth showing off, and I think that's how I come at it. And like, let's not be shy about it. Don't be like, be nice, be nice about it, and don't be like obnoxious. But I think like, little things like this, or like los costumbres de, traer something when you go visit someone's house, or even like I found out like last year that, I don't know if you see this, but like if you've ever been to like, I can only speak on Mexico, but people are always like sweeping like in front of the houses like every morning, or they clean. That comes from like the Mexica people. Like that's a really, really old tradition. So it's like stuff like that. And in my content, just obviously like speaking Spanish. I know that's not really like our native language in Mexico, pero just little things like that, like donde no se pierda, or I will tell you where I'm failing though, probably in the kitchen. Because I'm sorry, I'm just not naturally like inclined toward cooking, pero I'm working on it. Sí me sé hacer unos cuantos platillos, but it's a work in progress. But just showing all of that on social media, sprinkling it here and there, and just being proud,
It's cool that you're unapologetically Mexican on your accounts, and then that you do emphasize, both languages. You're able to connect to multiple audiences, because I know there is a lot of Latino creators out there who choose not to speak Spanish, or choose to conform more to what will make them universally popular.
Yeah.
Therefore, they're kind of watering down their heritage, even if they do align with it,
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that you're still, posting content that aligns with that. I really like that. But right now, do you have any like specific goals with your content, or maybe external entrepreneurial stuff?
Oh my God, yes. I'm a very goal-oriented person, so I'm like, I love this question. No. I think one of my main content goals this year, and it kind of was like toward the end of the year last year también, is honestly sharing more about me. I think there's a lot of people that don't know like my hobbies, like sé coser, like me encanta tejer. And I'm like, that's so grandma of me. But like, it's honestly like another thing like que se hace mucho en Mexico es tejer y bordar and stuff like that. When I went to Oaxaca for like La Guelaguetza, like I saw todo like los bordados, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is amazing. Like this is art, And so just sharing like more of what like my opinions are, if that makes sense, or what I think, or just getting like having my audience get to know me a little bit more, just because like I told you, like I am shy, and it kind of like did infect my content in that sense that like no quería compartir, or like era like I'm like I don't know, like I set a lot of boundaries just because this world can be so cruel. But I know there is a nice side of like building a community on social media. So I want to like build even more of that, where like I can connect with like girlies that love to read, or people that love to just like watch sports or like hang out, or lo que sea. So that's really on the content side. And externally, probably just keeping up, like staying healthy. Honestly, I think that's like not. It's hard and it's not, but I really like cuido lo que como.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can get like expensive here in the US, and it's really annoying that is a fact. But I think like personally, like that's one of like the goals that I have, and I've been doing well, like, you know, getting outside, touching grass, like stuff like that. I think like it's so easy, but then like when you work 24/7, it's kind of hard to like pull away and just relax for like 10 minutes, you know?
That's true.
And on the entrepreneur side, probably just keep growing my team, honestly. And grow my YouTube. YouTube has been...
You post on YouTube right now?
Yes, I do post on YouTube. So I did for a while back, but it was like kind of all over the place. And then when my content strategist came in, she was like, so scrap all of this. We're going to start. She's like, it's garbage. No, Elva watching this. Just kidding, Elva. It's fine. But no, she, I think like just taking it more seriously and being consistent, just because, as you know, like long form content is such a long, tedious process, but once you've mastered it, or maybe you get to the point where like you can bring someone on to do it for you, I think it's a game changer. So YouTube is where like I'll share probably more of like my personal side, where you'll see maybe like vlogs. People ask like what I do at the gym, so I just did that one. That was the last one I did. I don't know if you've been to like the Traders Village or like La Pulga, right? So many times. I was like, I have to ask now, but it was, my boyfriend had never been, so I did like a vlog of like his like first time. That's he's not Hispanic or anything like that.
Oh, he isn't? Oh, what is he?
He's South African.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I saw him in one of your videos. No. My boyfriend is Arab too, but everybody thinks he's Mexican.
Oh yeah, no. Literally, when we go to restaurants, they'll talk to him, and they're like, "Oh, we thought you were Asian. That's why we didn't talk to you." And I was like,
"You?"
Yes, all the time. I get it so often.
So you're not gonna talk to me just?
I know. I was like, what if I know Spanish?
Okay.
No, but those are like, it's just like little goals like that, and honestly, with social media, it's just keeping up with what's not trending, but what people want. My audience, what my audience want. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of your audience, do you know your audience demographics?
Yes.
What are they?
So, shockingly, like pretty much like all Hispanic, or for the most part, I think maybe like a 20% chunk, like si es de aquí, and that's probably like people that I've met, or maybe that are just interested. A lot of people from Mexico City, Houston, Dallas, Chihuahua, like random cities like that. And age range, it's probably close to, if I remember correctly, it's like son dos. It's probably like 18 to 35, I would say, if that's like the demographic. Yeah. And then probably like on the halfway point of, or maybe like US is a little bit more now that I've introduced more Spanglish content. Yeah, I would say it's like maybe 51, 49, por ahí. I'm trying to get it to change there, but yeah.
And is a mostly female audience or
I think it's like more, that's a whole nother thing. I think it's more, is it more male? I really hope not. I think it's like 50-50. It's like, it depends on the platform también, honestly. But I am working on like, I don't know why, like, si es que like bailo, like the whole like dancing, for some reason garners more males. And I'm like, what are y'all here for? Like, scroll, keep going. This is not for you. Yeah. Or like outfits and stuff like that. Like when I'm like, this is a get ready with me. I just want the girls here. Go away. Yeah. So it's like that. But yeah.
Okay. And then why do you think it's important for a person with your identity to be in this industry right now?
I think it's a way to show myself that like I can do whatever I want. Right? Whether I look like most of the people in this industry or not, whether I'm a woman or a man, like, or, you know, and then I think it's also important, and I would probably argue and say it's more important to be a person of color and speak Spanish and look like how we do, for the younger girls that want to pursue this, because a lot of girls like maybe get scared because hay puros hombres in the room of whatever industry that they're trying to do, or no hay una Latina maybe guiding them or showing them the ropes. And I know how lonely that can feel, and I don't want them to feel that. So I think it's very important for me to keep going and see how far I can take this, so someone else could maybe have an easier path behind me if they choose to go the same route. Because I think it's more encouraging to see that. I have a lot of Latina friends in STEM, and they're doing amazing things, and now like that percentage is growing because they have platforms, and you know it's cool to see like women like really do stuff, and I say women specifically because we do different, like how would I say this? The way we do things, we do it differently than a man would. Yeah. You know, a CEO woman and a CEO man does things very differently in their company. And I think that's also just as important as seeing a woman. If I think just being, I don't want to sound corny, but like inspirational, to see that someone else has done it. Like if they can, why can I not? Exactly. Well, you know?
Yeah. What things do you think you take into consideration that others in your industry who don't share your identity wouldn't?
I think who I hang out with. I think when I first started, I was kind of just trying to see like, okay, if I collab with this person, like it'll go good, I'll reach their audience. And that's kind of how I start off with. And I think it's, you know, it helps and whatnot. But when you get to a certain point where you get to choose now, like who you hang out with, because I do think like reputation is everything. And maybe reputation is not the right word, maybe image. Like I personally don't, like, por ejemplo, like I'm not an alcoholic, right? I'm not out there like drinking. I'm not a party person, so I wouldn't hang out with like people that only care about partying, right? Not saying that you shouldn't go like, you know, a bailar un cumbión o algo así, but like to on content to make that your life. I mean, that's up to you, but I personally am not on that route. So I think like me considering who I'm hanging out with, I'm not just gonna hang out with you just because I want your clout or just because I think we can do cool content together or lo que sea. And I think that's something that a lot of people overlook. Like the girl that we were just talking about, like maybe Jake Paul and them like did ruin her, and now like she's nowhere to be seen, you know? And so I think having the right people around, even from like a behind the scenes standpoint, like your managers and stuff like that, like they represent you in rooms that you're not in.
Yeah.
So I think like I also take that into consideration a lot. I did a lot of interviews of like agencies and managers and agents before I landed on my manager now. And with my content strategist, like I just got lucky because she was a friend first, and we actually met at a business networking event. And we've just been friends ever since. And now like I'm so thankful and blessed to say that like she's part of my team now, and she takes no BS. And just being around, like, that's what I take into consideration, I think, right now more than anything. Because I've been put in situations where I'm like, wow, you're not as nice as I thought you were. Yeah. And that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, so. I can see that. But I did want to talk about some statistics that I found specifically about content creators. So 61.7% of content creators are white. But we kind of knew that already.
Yeah, I was like, shocking.
Comparatively, 13.3% of content creators are Hispanic or Latino. And then I think it's Asian after that, like around 10% and so on. Which is interesting that like the next biggest percentage was Latino, but I don't really see them as popular as the white influencers or black influencers that I've seen. Yeah. I feel like they've kind of stayed in their own little niche communities almost. From what I've seen or, you know.
I think it's, I think in general, I mean, with the stats that you just gave me, like it's harder for Latinos, of course, in any room to grow. And sometimes I again, we're just assuming here, but sometimes I think it's maybe like that they don't have the right people leading them in the right direction to take that next step, right? Because you have like micro, macro, and micro creators, macro creators, and then like your big dogs, right? And this is a conversation that I had with Elba when I first talked to her, is like, I don't want to be stuck at this level because I feel like that's where a lot of Latino creators are stuck, whatever case that may be, or I don't know. We don't know the reasons, but I want to make it to the next one because there's certain Latino creators that are big, but I don't see a woman Latina creator that's of color. So it kind of sucks, but maybe that's one of the reasons why, or maybe we don't take it as seriously. Like, I don't know. And again, like, it's hard when brand deals take a white creator over a person of color, and that does happen. Like we've all seen it happen. We've seen so many cases of it, and the stats clearly show it.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll change in the next couple of years.
Hopefully. And then there was also an article by Forbes that talks about the untapped potential of Latina influencers on social media. And so based on their research, Latina influencers believe the Latino community is underrepresented in influencer marketing campaigns. And while Latinos make up 19% of the U.S. population, only 6% of the marketing industry's investment is spent on reaching the Hispanic community. And so of the 1,900 brands that invest in English language television advertising in the U.S., only 400 use Spanish language messaging to reach Hispanic consumers. And then also, according to marketing charts, Latinos tend to use most social media platforms more than other ethnic groups. So 1 out of every 5 adult TikTok users is Latino.
That's crazy.
And Latinos are much more likely to use newer social platforms like TikTok than non-Latinos. And some experts attribute this level of activity and engagement to the importance the online community places on individual identity and direct social interaction. And so they say Latina influencers are already ahead of the curve on this trend, as nearly 40% of the Latina influencers they surveyed indicated that they see TikTok as one of the biggest areas for opportunity in the future. What do you think? Does this resonate with you at all? Or?
Yes. Oh my God. Because like, I just think back again, and I don't mean to tie everything back to culture, but like, I feel like in the Latino community, like I think of like forget Gen Z, but like even our moms, like they buy stuff because una comadre le dijo que it was good. Like they buy a lotion because they're like, mira comadre, mira, like my hands are so soft now. And you know, and I feel like with TikTok, that just elevates, like, mira comadre, like now I can tell 10,000 comadres, like this lotion is amazing.
Yeah.
And who knows if like a certain like lotion brand gets behind that Latina creator, like they're made, you know, like I think that's really cool. So I just think we have so much untapped potential, and I feel like Latinos and Latinas specifically like just need to be ready for it. Like educate yourself as much as you can about how you can grow and better your content, and if you can have a team behind you or a manager, like even better. Because another thing behind that, which is like the darker side, is that companies will take advantage. Like if you don't have a manager, you don't know how to negotiate, they will take advantage of you, because it's happened to me. So I think this is great. And even like in the I follow a page is called We Are Drafted, and it's like Latinas in sports. And the numbers that I've been to, one of the owners was part of a panel that I went to, and the numbers that she threw around 2 years ago were huge. So I can't imagine how it is now with FIFA, because like women have a lot of buying power, more so than the men, right? And we know that, like, siendo Latinas, I'm like, I feel like, I don't know for y'all, but like shopping is like free therapy kind of. But I just think companies need to también also acknowledge the fact that, like, not even acknowledge, but like respect us, you know, as much as they respect our white counterparts or lo que sea.
Yeah.
So, just if you're a creator out there, just make sure you know how to negotiate and read the fine print. Read the fine print. Read the entire contract before you sign.
Yeah, and I also feel like there's a lot of niche communities or topics that Latinas can dive into, because, you know, Latinos are not a monolith. There's Afro-Latinas, Indigenous Latinas. Like, there's a bunch of different identities and different things that you could make content out of that would still reach, you know, a wide array of people. Yeah. And that's why when there's the issue with like marketing towards Latinos, there's not just one type of Latino that you're going to reach. Not every Latino likes soccer, you know?
No, literally.
So like, you know, you might get the Dallas Cowboys Latino or something, you know? It's interesting when it comes to that. And I know I've seen it a lot, especially on the journalism side, like politics and reporting, and people or candidates are always like, we have to get the Latino vote. And then they'll say these things, but it's like, you realize that they don't all carry the same
It's not
beliefs,
under the same umbrella. Yeah.
So they're just saying these things, and I'm like, that's not going to make you get the Latino vote. Like, we're really not a monolith, and they think we are. Yeah.
Another thing, like on that, I think like maybe this is one of the things that me and my friends talk about, is that like we need more like Latinos that are actually tied into the culture still to be in those positions where they can make those decisions. Like in those big like CEO, CMO like positions where it's like where they can lead the charge of like, no, this is how we're going to target like the Afro-Latino group. This is how we're going to target like the indigenous like Latino group. And so on and so on. Because like we both know like, por ejemplo, like una mexicana is not the same thing as una salvadoreña. In our music and our food and the way we speak and like the words that we use, like our expressions, like todo eso. So I feel like that also is like, I'm also like cheering on the Latinas that are in the corporate world, like climbing the ladder to be in those positions to change that. Because that's the other side, you know, because that'll help a bunch as well for the Latina creators.
It really would, yeah. It's an interesting thing. I don't want to say there aren't any good Latino creators, but a lot of the ones that have become popular are maybe not the best representation of what we have, you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny because this was literally going to be my thesis before I dropped it. But it was basically going to be analyzing the social media activity of the Latino community. So in terms of like what they engage with, what they like, what they make popular, because obviously engagement is everything and that's how these creators become popular. And so one of my big points was that chisme culture in the negative aspects of it, because I know chisme can also be looked at like sharing culture, you know, and it's a thing that's been used against women for a long time, but it can actually be sharing culture and, you know, passing down information. But how, I guess, the chisme culture aspect of it kind of leads the way we engage with certain media. So maybe we will repost or engage with more content that is talking about some internet beef between creators or some random chisme or, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so with that content or like hate watching as well counts as that too, because I know Ash Trevino, she was made popular because people hate watched her or because people clipped her stuff and made fun of her. And, you know, they was sat in her lives to watch her, but just to make fun of her. But you were still making her popular. And I remember, like, seeing her grow out of the community. And I remember, like, watching this podcast that I watched, and they mentioned her. And I'm like, these are these two white mainstream creators that are, like, celebrity adjacent almost. And they're talking about her. And so it's like, just even though she's not the official representation, this is the representation that we're getting, leaving our community and entering these other communities. Because there's other people like want to say like, oh, Alex Earl, she can represent white women, or Monet McMichaels, she represent like black women, you know. So it's like, okay, Ash Trevino does not represent us, you know.
Yeah.
And they know she's Mexican as well, so then I feel like it just reinforces stereotypes as well.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, why is it so hard for the positive creators to leave our community? But it's also because of the way that our community is interacting with certain content. Like, we're the reason why these good influencers are not being popular or not leaving our community, you know?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Like, I think I'm like 100% agree with you. I think that also just, it really mainly, sure, like it's one person like doing maybe certain stuff that she shouldn't be doing or lo que sea, but it does big time fall on the community for like, okay, you're still here though.
Yeah.
You're still consuming this. And like, I saw a video on TikTok the other day where it's like, you know, people want to see real stuff on social media. People want to see real people on social media. But then when a person is real on social media, you don't like that.
Yeah.
That's why I tell you, I'm not plan aesthetic, I'm plan azteca. Because I'm not aesthetic as a person. Like, I'm just not clean. Like, that's just I'm not gonna fake that at the end of the day, because first of all, like, why would I? I think staying true to myself has always been, it's gotten me this far. So, you know, and I don't plan on changing for anybody. And I think like from like what you're saying community wise, like that's why I try to show, not even, I think this just like adds on to another reason why like I show a parte de like de nuestra cultura, because like historically, like the Mayans and the Mexicas and the Otomi and the Purepecha, they were really smart people. And those to me are like very, very real Mexicans. Like they were the ones there first, right? You can say that. And that is like, it has nothing to do with, ¿cómo te diré? Like, maybe like this Ash Trevino girl wasn't the best representation, but they're not gonna look past that. And I want people to look past that. I'm like, Mexicans are really smart. They're super innovative. I'm sure like if you know some sort of like Latino or Latina, they've maybe you've had a business at some point, and that, in my book, is entrepreneurship at the end of the day. Like, you've tried to start something. Did it fail? Maybe, but at least you learned. But it's another reason why I also try to, like, encourage people to educate themselves, however that may look like, whether you read a book, whether you listen to an audio, whether you read an article from a credible source, whether you, like, look at big picture things, because, like you said, it falls on community. Right? So what am I digesting? Is this good? Like, that's why I've always also tried to keep, like, my content on the positive side. Obviously, like, as a community, we all have, like, our bad days or our bad times. But I think that's, like, I'm trying to be, like you said, like, that good representation. Like, if I'm going to be talked to or talked about in those rooms, I want it to be for positive things, like, oh, she did this, or, oh, like, in the Mexican community, they do this. Like, te reciben bien, or, like, I think the most common phrase, like, mi casa es tu casa, right? Like, who doesn't want to be welcomed in, like, in a home? So I think that's, like, what falls onto the community. Like, why are we digesting this? How can we better ourselves? And it's, like, really boring stuff. And, like, I feel like it's boring to a lot of people. But at the end of the day, like, así vamos a mejorar, you know? Like, this is how we're going to grow. This is how more Latinas are going to be in those bigger roles. This is how, like, these Latina creators are going to grow, because they're going to talk about maybe good things that are happening in the world and not just who's beefing with who.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's definitely a lot more issues with that, like media literacy and just lack thereof. You know, people take everything so seriously, and they don't take the time to read between the lines or context clues, or just, you know,
they assume
this clip with a fake caption is not real.
Yeah.
You know, people are doing this for engagement purposes.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a big issue of that. And that's just as a whole with everybody right now.
Yeah. I think that's just a general, like, not even to the Latino crowd, but just, like, that's why I tell people, I'm like, just pick up a book. Any book. Just pick up any book. I don't care what it is.
Pick up a book.
Pick up a book, like, please, because it'll literally, like I said, I wanted to study neuroscience. Like, it'll literally change your brain chemistry. It'll work muscles in your brain that you probably haven't worked in years. Or listen to an audiobook. Like, if you're an audio, like, or if you're a visual learner, like, watch something on YouTube that, like, will educate you. I don't care if it's, like, how to knit a sweater. I don't care what it is. Like, learn something, because it works your brain differently than just doom scrolling on TikTok does. And who knows, like, you might find something that you like. You might meet new people. You might meet a community that, like, you now fit into, like, lo que sea. But that's why I say people, like, when I say pick up a book, I don't mean, like, just pick up a book, but, like, learn, you know? Like, ponte a hacer algo productivo. I sound like my mom. But, yeah, it falls onto the community.
You're right, though.
Yeah.
So. But I also wanted to ask if it was important to you that these brands and businesses share the same morals and ideologies before you collaborate.
Yeah. I think the short answer is yes. And even with, like, it also comes down to, like, the people that are working, that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Like, how open are they to working with, like, a Latin crowd? Like, I have friends that in the industry that are queer, and the first question they ask right off the bat is, are you okay with queer people or queer women? Sorry, queer women. And if they say no, she cuts it there. Like, they're that strict about it. Aunque ocupen el dinero o no.
Yeah.
So I think, like, just allowing me, again, to show who I really am and not water down anything that I stand for at the end of the day. So,
yeah. It's just so crazy, because you never know the hidden agendas of all these brands. Like, there might be something hidden where you truly don't know about, and then you do the collaboration, and then followers bring it to your attention. You're like, oh, well, shoot.
And it's hard to, like I said, and it falls down on the community, like, also, like, doing research. Again, like, we go back to the same thing, like, really educating yourself on these brands. And, like I tell people now, I'm like, I have a friend that it sounds terrible, but in the world that we live in with so many billionaires and so many toxic companies, like, she always tells me, she's like, Paloma, you just have to pick your poison sometimes, especially when it comes to, like, health. Like, we were talking about, like, with health, like, with freaking, like, cereals, you know, or, like, the milk, or, like, the yogurt, like I think the most recent one is, like, the Chobani yogurt being, like, toxic or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
I ate one earlier yesterday.
Oh. I mean, I don't know what the whole thing, but I know, like, it has something that obviously, like, it's not good for the human body. And it was perceived as a healthy yogurt. Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, so now I was being lied to the entire time. So I think we just live in a world where, like, you have to navigate that, and it's exhausting, honestly, to, like, do your research sometimes. And I'm like, well, what if I really like the strawberry Chobani yogurt? Because I was using their creamer.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, dang it.
Yeah, I was eating a lot of their yogurt, too. And I think it's just also really sad when you discover that your favorite brand, like, hates your community.
No, literally.
And you're like, okay,
You're like,
you're out.
You're out.
You're out. Next one. No,
Yeah.
that's literally why. And even just all issues in general. I feel like as a journalism student, especially like I'm with the people. I guess you could call me woke. I'm woke. I don't care. But there's just like a lot of brands and like a lot of them, like I stopped eating them. Like, okay, yeah, I'm a boycott. Like, I don't care. Like, I used to eat at Kava like all the time. But once I found out that like they supported Israel and all that, I was like, okay. And I haven't eaten them in years. So I was like, I'm fine with that. I'll find somewhere else to go, you know?
Yeah.
More authentic food. I don't care.
Yeah.
So to me, it's not really an issue. And so I'd like to think that I would keep those morals. But I know sometimes it's easy to get clouded or just easily influenced or, you know, accidentally trip up and not do enough research. Yeah. So it is very...
And I was going to say, that's what I was going to say. I was like, sometimes we miss something because, again, we're humans. But, it is hard. Like, same thing, like, Kava, like, my boyfriend, he was, you can make that at home. I was like, I know.
You really could. I was making it at home.
No, literally, I was like, but it's so good here. And he was like, man, it is what it is, bro. Yeah. But after that, I was like, fine, whatever.
Yeah. And then the pick your poison part is really true because what isn't bad here in America? Like, what doesn't have bad ties to
literally,
it?
Because now I'm like, I think with like the whole plastic thing, like the documentary that came out on, I was literally just talking to someone about this yesterday about like, he was like, what's your favorite conspiracy? And I'm like, the food in America sucks.
Oh, girl, Soylent Greens. Have you heard about that?
No,
Soylent
what's
Greens,
that?
where it's just like fake lab meat and like because they were looking at like McDonald's and like fast food places, and it's like I think there was a stat where it's like if there's this many cows in the world, but they produce this many hamburgers in a day, that's
the math ain't mathing.
And you can only get this many hamburgers from a cow. Say if you use the whole cow.
Yeah.
Where is that meat coming from?
Exactly.
It's not meat, girl.
I think my dad was actually telling me about this because he was like, I don't know.
I haven't eaten McDonald's in years.
No, I haven't even. Yeah, no, I have not. No. Like the only thing that I would get from McDonald's is their fries. But that I can just make at home.
Yeah.
At the end, like that is really not that bad. Literally, I could just make at home. But it's exhausting. I'm tired. Yeah, I know. Yeah. It really is. So I'm like, just be careful because now it's like the whole thing with like Lululemon. Their clothes. I never owned any Lululemon.
Wait, what?
They're like, I think they're like toxic. I didn't look too much into it.
Polyester.
But I was like,
everything.
I was like, since I didn't own anything Lululemon, I was like, oh, okay, another brand. Like, whatever.
Yeah, so, it's just literally everything in America that we consume was just made.
That's why I'm ready to go back to Mexico. I'm like,
keep us under their spells. We're under spells, people. No, literally. But I also wanted to ask if you ever. Or if you're allowed to, I don't know what kind of program they're running over there. But do you ever get political or try to be political in your content? I know some people prefer not to through fear of losing brand deals and such. Is that something that
I don't think I've gotten political in the sense that like I'm going to tell you like I'm going to educate you about politics. I don't think that's what, nor do I have the knowledge to, but I have friends that do. So what I like to do is I'm like, okay, if you want to learn about this, go to her. Yeah. I have like trusted sources or like talk to this lawyer. Because I know there's, what's her face? The pink lawyer.
Oh,
you know
Attorney
her.
Martinez.
Yes, her. So like I do like share a lot of that content because again, like if that was my content, I don't mind sharing it, but I would have to educate myself. And learning politics is a lot to like learning it for yourself is one thing, but actually like putting together something is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not against it. Like I know when I think I more see it from on the community standpoint, like just to kind of just create a platform where I'm like, hey, like if you guys need something or you guys want me to share something or stories or a GoFundMe, like I'm here for that. And I support all my friends that do like their content is straight politics. And I share that. And it's more so like I just tell people I'm like, stay informed because things like right now are like changing so fast that we don't know what might happen tomorrow with this administration. Like we really don't. And so I'm not shy to it, but from like a brand perspective, I don't care. Like I value my people more than I value the brand's approval for a campaign, honestly. Yeah,
exactly. How do you feel of when like followers are asking certain creators to speak on a topic or like they're very, very adamant? Because I know that's a big thing now. Like, they want them to say a statement or say something about a lot of things that are going on. And then a lot of creators are like, well, why should I have to say anything? Like, that's not what my content is. Like, why I don't feel like, or if there's somebody in the community, it's like, why aren't you speaking about ICE? I feel like I saw that a lot with Latino creators.
No, for sure, yeah.
When all that was happening. And so, I don't know. What do you think about that?
They have the right to, just because, like, I think as a content creator, like, we understand, or maybe some of us don't, but I feel like I understand by putting myself in the public eye, like, certain things are going to be expected of me.
Yeah.
In that sense, right? And so that's why I say they have the right to. And I want to be one of those creators, like, yo quiero estar con my community en las buenas y en las malas, right? So I'm not going to shy away from that. Like I said, I'm like, don't do it nicely. Like, don't assume, because I did have a situation where, like, I had posted a video acknowledging, like, what was happening. I can't remember what situation exactly, but it was related to that. And she accused me of, like, not speaking out about it. And I was like, first of all, girlie, where were you? So it's more so, like, make sure you are identifying, like, okay, if she's already done it, okay, cool. Because she was, like, saying some mean things. And I was like, girl, like, we did.
Yeah.
So again, like, do your research, investigate, and make sure. But I don't necessarily get, like, I know some creators get, like, offended, like, that's not what I post and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I get that. But right now, like, this is bigger than content.
Yeah.
This is way bigger than content. Like, I'm just a speck in a very, very big world. And like I said, I want to be with my community en las buenas y en las malas. And if there's some way I can help with that, or some words of encouragement, or lo que sea, like, I want to make sure that I can do that. But I also want to stress that, like, I know some creators get, like, literally can't because of their immigration status.
Yeah.
And that's very scary. And I just want to make that, like, known that is the reason for a lot of creators, that it's a genuine fear. Maybe they're the ones here supporting a certain family back home, whether it be in Mexico, donde sea. And just, like, I want you guys to be, like, conscious of that. And make sure, like, you understand that, because I can't imagine that position. Like, that's rough. That's, like, really hard. Y luego, y luego for your community to, like, aparte, like, come on to you like that, like, that's not nice. So, and just make sure, like, everybody's, like, you're also doing your part. Like, I'm a big person of, like, okay, put your money where your mouth is. Like, if you're over here harassing me for certain things, I'm like, well, I hope you're doing something too.
Yeah.
Like, I hope you're educating yourself. I hope you're educating other people. Like, whether you go to a protest or not, like, I don't care. Like, pass out aguas at the protest. Like, do something. Part of, like, because, you know, the phrase, like, it takes a village. It does take a village. It does take people doing, like, certain things. You can be protesting, you can be handing out waters, you can be spreading information, you know, connecting people with lawyers that are, you know, specialized in that sense. You can do so much. So I just want to make sure, like, that's a thing, because I know, like, a lot of influencers, sadly, like, they are in that point where they literally can't, or they're too scared to, which is understandable.
Yeah, and I know a counter argument with people who follow creators is that, oh, well, I go on their account. I don't go on their account for politics. I go to, like, get away from that. You know, it's like my home away from home or whatever, where I don't have to think about stuff like that. Sure. And I'm like, yes, that is valid. You know, it's good to not constantly be plagued by the bad things that are going on, because especially when there's not a whole lot that you can do to stop that. Yeah. But I feel like, especially if they're not undocumented or don't have fear like that with them, with their own status, I feel like the creator still has some responsibility to acknowledge what's going on. For sure. And it's a luxury to not have to think about it at all. So I feel like that's also part of the conversation as well. I know there's a lot of back and forth, and then sometimes they bully the influencer into saying something, and it's just like, here, damn. Like, and then they never talk about it ever again. So it's like, you bullied them into making this statement. They made it because they felt bullied too, but they don't actually really care about it. And then they just kind of, or maybe that's like the other influencers that, like, just profit off their identity in that way, but don't actually care about stuff that's going on. There's, like, so many levels.
There's so many levels. And, like, that's, like, another thing, like, this past year, like, going back again to the community, like, and you know, practicing what you preach. Like, I had because we talked a lot about, like, mejorando, like, la comunidad Latina and having them be educated. Like, I volunteered to work with kids to show them podcasting, actually. Oh. And so I was like, what are you guys doing aparte de, like, they're just sitting here on your phone, criticizing somebody for not, like, it's not, like you said, yes, it's important to talk about certain things going on right now, but it's always important to do things throughout the year to help wherever you can in your community and be a part and be an active player in that community. Whether, and I think, did I even post about it? I don't think I did. But like it doesn't even matter like if you do or don't, but like what, like genuinely, like what are you doing as a person like to better your community?
Exactly.
Whatever that may look like, whether it's buying flowers from like las personas vendiendo flores aquí off the street. Like I told my boyfriend, like, si me vas a comprar flores, like let it be through like them, you know, like I don't want flowers from whatever store sells them. Like buy me un ramo right here. Like están vendiendo flores. So even stuff like that, like it's not just important like at the times where like it's of need, but throughout the entire year or whatever, you know?
Exactly. I feel like especially with the rise of social media, there's a lot of TikTok activists where all their activism is just commenting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, no, you gotta get out there.
No, you gotta do more than that.
Yeah.
That's sure important, but you gotta do more than that. So.
Exactly. And can you tell us a bit more about your day-to-day work life and what it looks like?
Yes. So wake up, coffee. Well, agua. Always drink water before coffee. Agua. Like I said, healthy. But it just depends on the day. I try to separate out my days into like admin days. So that's usually like Monday and Friday are like kind of like my admin days because I don't want to be like filming, because usually like on weekends is probably when I have events. Like yesterday there was the game and then I had that shoot and stuff like that. So weekends are probably like the busier times, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But the day really depends on what type of day it is. If it's a content day, if it's like a meeting day, if it's I'm going out, like out and about to do content, then it'll be that day. And that's kind of like the days that I have, por decirlo así. So admin days is just everything back end, answering emails. If I owe my team like, hey, I need a pitch for this brand or I need an idea or they want a concept, lo mando. If I have stuff to edit on my own, I will. YouTube editing kind of falls into that. You know, my meeting day is just when I check in with the manager, now the brand strategist, and if I owe the editor anything like feedback or anything like that or changes. Content day, it just really depends. If I'm filming like in my apartment, I'll film there. Like I'll get those videos out of the way, and I usually come with a plan beforehand. I never like to film anything blind. You can, and some people are really good at it, but I just prefer to be prepared and know what I'm filming and the angles that I'm capturing. And then if I do a content day like outside, you know, my apartment, or I go out and go see a new coffee shop or lo que sea, then I'll do that. And yeah, like the events, it just kind of depends on the day. But that's really like my week, copy paste.
And if you could send a message to your younger self right now, what would you say?
Good job. I think, again, firstborn son, firstborn daughter. But I think like good job and keep going. Like this is just the beginning. Okay. I think that.
And is there a content creator, an entrepreneur, someone that you currently look up to right now? It could be somebody you know personally or maybe an influential figure.
I think from a content creator standpoint, I think the girl that I was talking to about earlier, Jackie, I believe she's Nigerian. If I'm not mistaken. I won't pronounce her last name because I'm going to butcher it. I know it starts with an O. And I think and we're both Leos, but like how she presents herself as a Black woman, I think she has talked about like how she also dealt with a lot of stereotypes in the creator world because she's Black, and how she managed that. And I'm like, I deal with certain stereotypes, and you know, it kind of helps in that sense, but also like how she talks to her audience, like she's in the comments, being as big as she is, like she still is very down to earth. Yeah. From what I've seen. Again, I don't know her. So from a creator, like I think she's really cool. And from an entrepreneur standpoint, I don't think I have anyone currently that I look up to.
Well, do you know who Fernanda Cortez is? She's a creator on TikTok.
I've heard her name, but I don't think I watch her content.
Okay. Well,
should I know her?
Well, we'll find out.
Okay.
Okay. But this educational segment is called Women Before Us, where I highlight a notable woman who shares the same profession as the episode's guest, and hopefully their story can inspire you or maybe educate the listeners on someone who's making an impact in their field. And so Fernanda Cortez is a Mexican creator on TikTok who started making content to highlight influential Latina women. And her content has since evolved to cover a range of topics about the Latino community, from politics to pop culture and much more. And so Fernanda immigrated to Phoenix with her family from Guadalajara, Mexico, when she was in elementary school. Growing up, she said her family made sure to teach her about influential Latinas to connect her to her culture. Like many others, she downloaded TikTok during the pandemic and began to get ideas for videos she could make. While millions of others were learning the latest dance crazes, she decided to create a space to teach others about Latinas who changed the course of history. She said, I just decided to start talking about these women that inspired me, Cortez said. I felt like they weren't being recognized or acknowledged. I wanted to put their names out there, their stories out there, and hopefully connect with somebody and have another young Latina find someone that they can see themselves in. And so she began a series on her account called Badass Latinas in History. In every video, she highlights a different Latina and shares how she helped change the world. She began her series honoring Mexican film actress Maria Felix and has now highlighted nearly 100 influential Latina women in her videos. She also hopes that by educating others about her culture and influential Latina, she can help end negative stereotypes about the Latin community and her home country. I think my culture is so beautiful and it's so deep and so rich, and my country is so much more than the negative stereotypes and the negative ideals that the media oftentimes puts. She says she would love to have a more diverse education about different cultures because she feels like kids need to learn about other cultures and connect with their culture as well. And she believes the country is a melting pot, so there's a need to diversify history in schools. And recently she collaborated with the Florence Project to sell T-shirts, and a portion of the proceeds from every purchase is donated to help provide free legal and social services to immigrants facing detention and deportation. Cortez now has 1.1 million followers on TikTok and almost 120 million likes. She hopes to continue educating others while also bringing the Latin community closer to its roots. But yeah, what do you think about her achievements, and does it parallel any of your goals or motivations?
I think I know who you're talking about. If we're thinking of the same person.
Yeah.
I just didn't her name escaped me. I'm like,
Yeah.
that sounds super familiar, but I think I know who you're talking about. I think she does great stuff. Assuming we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, I think we are.
I think we are talking about the same person. I think she does great stuff. I think I didn't know that she started out that way. And I'm happy to hear that someone else is also trying to fight the bad stereotypes that kind of put us all in one box when we're really where we don't belong in a box. And I think she's amazing. I love her storytelling. I love the way she covers topics very timely, because I know for me that's hard to just come out with this, something happens and then people already want you to talk about it. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I haven't had coffee yet. But I think I have nothing bad to say. I think my favorite video of her probably is super random, but when they discovered los ajolotls.
Oh.
And I think it was Sonora. And I think she covered that. And I was like, this is great, because I'm also again, big tree hugger. and I was like, this is great that they're not going extinct and they have another habitat and stuff like that. And Maria Felix is my mother's favorite actor, actually.
Oh.
Because she's this is how, not that I want you should be exactly like Maria Felix, but say what's on your mind and y que no seas dejada. So I was like, okay, so she knows what she's talking about. So yeah.
Yeah, what do you want your legacy to be, though?
Oh my goodness. I feel like it changes every 5 years. But I think one part of a legacy is, because there's two. I always think okay, what legacy do I want to leave for my family, and one for the general content creation. But for the content creation, I think it's just to lead a happy life. I think the world already sucks as it is now, and we're all humans going through life together, and just why be a negative person? There's literally I think of the song a lot like Un Puño de Tierra. In the end, we're all gonna end up the same, and maybe that's a little dark, but there's no reason why we all, well, that's a big statement. I was gonna say there's no reason why we all shouldn't be able to get along, but I feel don't be part of the hate. Don't be part of the negative in the world. Be be happy, like lead, like do stuff that makes you happy, whether that's hanging out with your like freaking cats, whether that's painting, whether that's going on a walk, whether that's dancing. Like I say, I think like just be a happy person. Like I never, like when I meet people, I'm like, I never want them to leave like our conversation or like whatever, like sad or like upset or lo que sea. I think that's probably like the main one. There's a bunch of other ones, like the ones that I've told you, like, you know, creating a path and stuff like that. But just, I think it's just that, like, just be happy, you know, like lead that. For family though, like I do want to, like, I think that would be probably a little bit more of like what we talked about is like if I can do it, you can do it too. Like, como te dije, like mis papás no vinieron de mucho, but blessed enough to be here sitting in this seat today that I can talk about these things. Because I know like my bisabuelas definitely didn't have many options in their life. So just leading that path and showing that you can do it too. And if anything, like I tell my youngest brother, I'm like, you get to watch my mistakes and learn from them, and your other brother's mistakes and learn from them. Yeah. So no pressure, but I was like, you should be turning out the best out of all of us, you know? But just like being like I try to be like that example and practice what I preach in that sense. So yeah.
And lastly, just to wrap things up, is there something that you wanted to add or say that I didn't get to ask you today?
Ooh, I think you covered a lot.
You can plug yourself, whatever you
want. Yeah, sure. Why not? Let me do that. Let me do my job. You can follow me at paloma.diaz.rivas on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, everywhere, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. But as far as plugging anything else no, I think you touched pretty much about everything. We talked about books. We did talk a lot. I don't know how long we talked, but we did talk a lot. We could be here for a very long time, but no, I think that's it. I think I didn't want to bore people with like the actual like behind the scenes of like how I organize things and formats, because I'm such a type A nerd about that. But I think like having systems I think that's probably a good one, like that I didn't get to mention, is like if you're going to be a creator, like having systems in place and having structure has allowed me to stay very organized and be able to manage my time well. So that's another thing, like for any creators out there, like if you can put structure, then I think you most definitely should. You will need to at some point if you get bigger. So yeah. But other than that, that's the only thing.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here today. I had a lot of fun talking to you.
Likewise.
It's nice to see a creator who feel like matches their personality in person and online, because I feel like a lot of times
that's the biggest compliment. That's the biggest compliment.
So I'm glad that this was a good conversation. I had a lot of fun talking to you. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here today. Yeah.
Do I get my applause as I walk out? No.
Yeah. I mean, we can do it.
No.
Go.
Thank you.
But thank you so much to the listeners for giving this podcast a chance. I hope you guys learned something new or gained some inspiration from Paloma here, maybe to pursue your own passions. Subscribe to this channel and make sure you don't miss any future episodes. And I'll link all my social media in the description so you can catch highlights from this episode, as well as teasers for the next. We have another amazing woman ready to tell her story. So see y'all next time. And remember, these are the real lives of real people who deserve to be unstereotyped.